Hi folks, well, Monday again. Today, different bit of scenery, so I thought I'd come over here, but this non-Goth thing out the window will shine its beams in and bugger it up. So yeah, I've had to move around a bit just to stop that glaring. So yeah, Monday. Start off as usual. It's hot. Cup of tea with a lid. It's still blooming hot, so hopefully that will keep it hot a little bit longer. But it'll stop me keep drinking it, won't it? Well, I've sat here this time rather than over there. Thought I'd do something a little bit different today. Got one or two bits I bought today, which I'll show you, just a couple of bits. Not going to spend a load this week. The dreaded utility bill this week for water and acrylic. So yeah, not a lot this week, but a couple of bits I bought that I liked, and one I put away last week. And Sebastian, say hi Sebastian. Yeah, Sebastian's my cat. Don't cost me anything in food or cat litter, nothing. And if he gets on my nerves, I just turn him off. But he's a lovely little fella. See there, he's quite happy doing what cats do. And I can give him a little poke around. Hello. So I'll give you cat lovers a couple of minutes just to enjoy him. I don't know if you can hear it, he's purring away. And he does that, he leans back so you can give his belly a bit of a tickle. So he likes all yeah, you do, don't you? Anyway, so that's my cat, Sebastian. Yeah, you're going to keep bloody making a noise now, aren't you? So, yeah, Sebastian. Thought you'd like to see this little fella because I ain't brought him up since I bought him, but he's down here, and here he is. Yeah, my little crow. Good friends, ain't you? Yeah. Yeah. So actually, I'm just doing this because I was sitting in this freaking chair. But yeah, says, "Get out of my freaking chair." Well, you got a bit to wait yet, so just go down there. Yeah, shut up. So we'll keep Sebastian here, and I'll show you the couple of bits I bought this week. I haven't bought any albums. Who knows, later in the week I might. But there's a good EP, 12-inch picture EP that I think some people will like. I might be tempted to get it this week, and I might not. But what did I get? I got this, and I don't bloody need it because I just don't. I've got, I don't know how many cafetières, but this was just flipping different. I mean, have you ever seen one looking like that? You say, yes, I've got one in my kitchen. Well, it was just funny. I weren't sure what it was to start with, but I think it's a cafetière. Got this lovely dome bit on the top, and obviously if you pull that up, push it down, and if you take the lid off, there's the, so Americans, what we're talking about, French press, but we're very posh here. We go cafetière. It's a cafetière. Right, that was one. The other bit I got today was this, which I put away last week. Glass. Yes. I'll tell you what, makes a change with him going to my bloody phone or something making a noise. Just stayed away. Glass, candlestick. You can put a little tea light on there, but only a certain size, unless you're just going to have it like that. That candle size I've had to fix it in with dripping wax, but so it'll take a wider candle, but I don't want wide at all. I only want it about here somewhere, and that's because of this bit, and this is the bit, the clincher for me. There you go. That is £3. Can you go bloody wrong with that? I think night time with a light in there and the glass radiating the light, that's going to be pretty flipping neat. So yeah, I'm going to go again, so I'm going to have a flipping, I'm going to have a swig. Anyway, what today was about, just wanted to show you them one or two things, and that is it, which was not a lot for a Monday for me. These boyos in the process, but I thought where I normally add a little bit of things I've got or things that I do, I thought I would show you one or two bits that I make myself out of other bits sometimes, but they're fun for me. They're not that hard to do, although they maybe seem it. One or two bits, probably all of them, some people have seen before, because I've done videos on these objects, but I just thought I'd do it again, but this time where I've normally put pictures up and that's it. I'll probably talk your arse off and tell you a little bit about it and why and how I went about it. So, and hopefully it'll inspire you to have a go, because at the end of the day it was just me saying to myself, I want one of them, where can I get one? Can't bloody get one anywhere, so sod it, I'll have a go myself. If it fails, it fails, but I think if you put a bit of effort into something, it's not going to fail drastically. And I think what we've got, say within the Goth community, is that things don't have to be perfect, because if they're not quite perfect and they look a bit raggedy, they look a bit old, all the better. Yeah, I could go out and I could find a place and I could buy these things pristine condition, and you probably know one of the things I'm going to talk about, and that's this coffee table. Now when I went to do this, I obviously was confronted with that idea. Do I keep looking around and find one that's really pristine from a showroom, we might say, it's going to look bloody elegant? Do I want to go to an undertaker's and buy a smaller one and turn it into a table? Again, it's going to be as pristine as you get it for a funeral. Or am I going to have a go and do it myself? So yeah, have a look at that. Have a look at one or two other things I've done that have cost me very little. And if it gives you, doesn't have to inspire you to copy what I'm doing, but might inspire you to look at things you got that you can readapt to something else, or things that when you're walking past a charity shop or a junkyard or whatever, you might even see something in a skip and think, hang on, if I had that, repaint, add this bit, take that bit away, stick a candlestick on it, whatever, and I have got, and it's costing you peanuts, then I hope it inspires you to do that, because you know, if you want to spend loads of pounds of dollars, it's up to you. At the end of the day, this does what it's supposed to do. So yeah, we'll go and have a look at this and I'll give you a little bit of idea on it. I won't give plans. If you go online, there's umpteen plans of how to measure and build a coffin. Okay, hope you can still hear me because I'm a fair distance away now and I know I have a bit of trouble with the sound. But here's the coffin coffee table. I can't show you it all like this because if I do, I'll be up to there. That's as far as you'll see. So for now, just so I can talk to you, but I will come down and show you bits here. So took everything off here because I normally have my taxidermy crows etc on it, and the only thing that's left is Yorick, and here's Yorick. Alas, Horatio, I knew him well. So I'll just go stick Yorick in the chair. So there he is. So yeah, this is the coffin. I think you can see it down there. It's more or less the top. It's from there to about there. But like I said, I had the two lids, well, the lid and the base cut out. Then I measured the angles, what size those bits would be. I had them cut. Bought 4 little feet to sit it on so it wasn't on the floor. Painted it black, varnished black, like really thick lace around the top. It's material lace, it's not that thin sort of lace. On the handles there's black and purple ribbons. These on the top for the coffin screws are metal, silver metal kitchen doorknobs, the smaller ones. Put them on there, they look like coffin screws. I had this big metal cross, had 2 holes in it, so I screwed that on, and then the brass plate was fairly recently. I found somewhere on Amazon that makes them. We'll put on what you want. And this was a tribute to Brandon Lee and the Crow. So it's got, in loving memory, Eric Draven, but in tribute to Brandon, it's got his birth date and his death date, and it says the Crow took revenge. And using his birth date and death date, if you look at him and you look at Eric Draven, they were the same age, should we say? So if we sort of give them the same birth date, death date, it all fits there. Anyway, so for a long time this was empty. So I'm just going to lift the lid. Now, when I put this lid on, there was nothing in here. So if anybody pops up or anything, I'll be as bloody surprised as you. But it's a good bloody thing for anybody that comes round and pees you off. Right, let's lift the lid. There's the lid. So, as you can see, If I wanted to use it, I'd have to put my knees up. So yeah, that's the lid, that's the size of it. Maybe that way would be a good idea. Right, so you can see that, and in a second or two I'll actually show you what's in there, but it was empty for a long time. I could put bits and bobs in it, but decided not to in the end, so I've just lined it, and it's like frilly and silky satin in there. Now this year Halloween's coming up, whether or not I buy another skeleton and put that in there just because, or if something comes along that looks a bit like it's mummified, I might put that in there. So yeah, what I'll do is now I'll just show you here and then move on to something else. So come and have a look. There you go, it's a little bit dark in here, but that's the side with the handles, and if we look inside, there you go, that's what it looks like inside. So like I said, this Halloween I might put a skeleton in there, I might put something else in there if I find something that's decent enough, but yeah, I think it needs something in there anyway. Okay, I was going to show you the other coffee table I made, but I thought I'd leave that for some other time. And look at this. This was just a little wall plaque that I made. Again, I had that wood, thought coffee to shape. I have that on the brain. And Nevermore with a raven in the middle, Goth on it. And if I come back, it's sitting there with the bats and the tree. So that's easy enough to make. You don't have to put Evermore Goth on it, but you can put whatever you want. So that's just cut out and then put whatever you want on it, really. Okay, next we have this little barrel. I found this barrel in a charity shop and it was pretty cheap, probably a couple of quid. And if you look, there's a little catch just there. You can undo that, do it up, and you can lift it up and put stuff inside. And what I got it for at the time was, apart from storage, it sat down at the side of my chair where now the other coffee table is, side table I call it. And that's where I used to put my drink and sit things that I needed to have at hand. And if you have a look, at the moment it's got a little candlestick on it. Now, bought the barrel, thought I want it as a little table, and I think to start with I just sat stuff on top of the barrel. But then I had a couple of these books, at least one of those is Stephen King, which some of you is going to curse me for, but there's a Stephen King hardback and there's another hardback there. I can't read it properly from here, but if we have a look at those, set them on the top so they look like you've set down a couple of books. If I lift the top just there, there's two very long screws that go all the way through the two books into the lid. So they are really steadfast. So just another little idea how you can take one thing, something else, turn it into another object. And it really did come in handy, and it really does still come in handy. Okay, on the same theme of, we'll say, books, there's a little shelf that could have put it on the wall, but I decided to put it on the frame of this picture that I have here. And I'm really not going to go down with Stephen King fans, am I? Because actually that's just sitting on there. But this book here, Agatha Christie, what it is, 2 L-shaped brackets fixed to the painting, comes down and out. So it's 2 small L-shaped brackets. You screw it to the wall, screw it to wherever you want to put the shelf, and then you open the bottom cover, sit that book on the brackets, and then with double-sided tape you bring the bottom cover back up and it sits there. But to make sure that it didn't come off, I've actually put a little screw through the cover into the book to hold that bottom one. I have got other Agatha Christie books with the same story, so don't worry. But yeah, 2 little L-shaped brackets, 1 book on the bottom, and it's up to you what you put on top of that. You can add other books, you can add little knickknacks, whatever. But again, it costs very little, and you get a little or big unique shelf. So yeah, you could have a go at that. Okay, I've done this one before, but seeing as it's near the little shelf, I'll do it again. Quite simple. That was a little plastic Halloween skull. Not the most beautiful of skulls, is it? But the local butcher, I can go to him and say, "You got any rib bones for me?" and he'll keep some, and then I'll process them. These are cattle ones, I think, so they're pretty big. So I'll try and put my hand there to give you an idea the size of it. So the 4 real bones to the wall, and then just a little screw or something there just to hang the little skull on. And you have your own personal skull and crossbones, and that's pretty neat. If I can get a really nice authentic looking skull, that one's going to go up there instead. The haul, probably the last bit I'll do today. A wood frame that I bought. I don't know what was in it, but it wasn't something I wanted anyway, and luckily that painting just fit in there as I wanted it. Halloween blood splattered it. It was a clown Halloween sticker. Added the snakes. Actually I stained the outside, wood snakes, some netting, and the knobs, because it was going to be to hang coats or something like that on. But again, it cost very little, buying bits and thinking, what can I do with those bits? And there's always something you can do with them. Well, back to my normal place. Anyway, that was 1 or 2 bits I bought today. My cat and my crow, and looking at 1 or 2 bits that I made up myself or adapted from something else, just to hopefully inspire people to have fun, don't do anything I want, which is bloody impossible I suppose. I'm going to have a cup of tea. that one's cold.